call to order the Monday, January 4th, 2021 meeting of the City of Algoma Council, Common Council. I'd like the new clerk to take the roll, please.
All right.
Here.
Alderman Maring.
Please unmute if you're at home so we can take roll.
Alderman Maring.
Can you hear us at home? Thumbs up.
We can.
I'm talking.
Oh,
there we go. Don't know what's going on.
Okay.
All right. Alderman Dashlet.
Here.
Alderman Burr.
Here.
Alderman Gressel.
Here.
Alderperson Weiss.
Here.
Alderman Meverden.
Here.
Alderman Povic.
Here.
Alderman Schmidt.
Here.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you let the minutes reflect that this meeting is held in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes.
Approval of or any changes to the order of agenda as published. Does anybody have any changes that they would like to introduce at this time? Hearing none, I will accept the motion to approve the agenda as published.
So moved.
Moved by Mitch,
Second.
second by Kevin. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of meeting minutes. We have two sets of minutes. One is from a special common council meeting on December 2nd, 2020, and the other one is a regular common council meeting on December 7th, 2020. Does anybody have any questions of those minutes? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes, both sets.
So moved.
Moved by John,
Second.
second by Kevin. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment, is there anybody here this evening under public comment?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and state your name, please, and your address for the record.
Diana Baker, 603 Fremont Street in Algoma here. I had concerns about the trees that have been tagged around my property for cutting down.
Aye.
But before the meeting, I talked with Matt Murphy,
Yes?
and we are going to be looking into that further.
Okay, did you have any other further comment on that, Diana?
Just the concerns that I've expressed with him and with the city administrator and with my alderman.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody else under public comment? Hearing none, we'll close public comment and we'll go under consideration of bills, claims, and conference attendance. Did everybody have a chance to look at the bills and the credit card payments? Are there any, excuse me? Are there any questions on those bills? If,
I have a question.
John?
On the register of activities, article or item 21420, it looks like it's repeated. It's for the SAS Forks. Did we get one or two of those? Because we've got it under 208.
Well, the truck was repeated too, John.
And 20917 is. We didn't pay for those twice, did we?
Amber?
She's looking at it right now.
I'm taking a peek.
I think the other one was for public works.
I can answer, John, to answer your question.
Yeah.
No, we did not get two of each of those. But why they're on the registry twice, that would be, Amber would have to answer that.
Okay,
So-
and I think Jake is right that we also saw the vehicle on there, the truck.
That is correct, yes. We did not get two of those.
John, what page are you looking at?
I was looking at the package information.
Okay, so the one that I sent this morning had it had one set of a PDF with just the Public Works bills in it. Those were all the ones that I forgot to include originally last week when I sent it out. But then I reran the report with everything in it and so those, they look like they're repeated, but they're not. It's just all in the packet as one. I just
Okay.
ran a separate report so you could see easily at first glance what was added.
Got it. I just wanted to make sure that we did not
Yep.
double up.
Yeah, the system actually has protections and it wouldn't let me issue the same check number twice, so.
Thank you.
That reference number is the check number.
Okay. You okay with that, John?
Yes, I'm satisfied with that
Okay.
response.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills and the credit card payments.
So moved.
Moved by Lee,
Second.
second by Mitch. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Maring,
Yes.
Alderman Dashlett,
Yes.
Alderman Burr,
Yes.
Alderman Gressel,
Yes.
Alderperson Weiss,
Yes.
Alderman Meverden,
Yes.
Alderman Povic,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt.
Yes.
See? Okay, thank you. There are no claims and additional claims to come before the city at this time?
No.
Okay. Then we're gonna move on to item 9. We're gonna do committee reports tonight, because we still haven't changed over to our new system that we're gonna try. I guess you're gonna try
The
to
end
do
of this
that
month.
in just January, or you're gonna talk
Yep.
about it tomorrow in your meeting? Do you have
We have a staff meeting tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna talk about it a little bit tonight, too.
Okay, sounds good. So under the first one is finance and personnel, and that meeting was called to order by yours truly on December 15th of 2020 at 4:30 PM. The roll was taken. The meeting was in compliance with the open meeting law. The agenda was approved as published. There was also meeting minutes from November 17th that were approved. The general bills were gone over and approved. There was also credit card payments were approved. There was nobody in attendance for public comment. There was no old business. We discussed the new business, and that was considering into the agreement with Robert E. Lee and Associates. Jared's gonna talk about that tonight. We also considered the purchase of a 2021 GMC pickup truck and SAS forks for the Public Works Department. Reading of the committee and commission minutes. We talked about the recommendation to try to come up with a new proposal on our meeting minutes. And again, Jared's gonna discuss that with the staff tomorrow. We're looking at coming up with a different way of basically pre-recording the minutes in advance and playing them about a week prior to the council meeting. And that would eliminate having to go through the minutes at our council meeting. The agenda items for next meeting, there was none. New business continued. We went into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. And that was to consideration of offering to purchase land adjacent to Evergreen Cemetery. We went into closed session at 5:02 PM. We reconvened into open session at 5:30 PM. There was no action taken as a result of the closed session. The next meeting date is Tuesday, January 19th at 4:30 PM. There was a motion made and seconded to adjourn. Meeting adjourned at 5:30. Any questions or comments on my report? Hearing none, then we're going to move on to protection of persons and property. Scott?
The PPP meeting was called to order on Monday, December 28th at 4 o'clock at City Hall. Everybody was in attendance with the exception of John Ortlieb, who was excused. The meeting was held in compliance with the open meeting law. The approval of the agenda and the previous meeting on November 30th were both approved. Public comment, there was nobody there for public comment. Went through department reports for rescue. Director Claus presented the report. Total calls to date for December was 44. Year-to-date calls 410. Staffing is becoming an issue for a couple of different reasons. There's a meeting that's going to be coming up later this week to discuss that. Fire report was given by Assistant Chief Vandenack. Responded to 6 calls since the last report, November, 62 runs year to date. Winter training has begun. Christmas tree pickup will be on Saturday, January 9th. This coming Saturday, January 9th. Trees do need to be placed curbside before noon that day for pickup. Chief Farmer Kirby gave us the police report. Calls for service in November were 144. Total calls January through November is 1553. The winter parking enforcement continues, and the police department was officially awarded the CESG computer grant for $10,000. The funds are going to be used to purchase a couple of 2 more Toughbook computers, which are the computers for the cars. We did have 1 request for attendance to a seminar or training for Sergeant Gallbrand at NWTC for the LESB Vehicle Contact Instructor course that takes place in later this month in January. That was approved. The bills were approved. We didn't have any old business listed. Under new business, we did have 1 item, which was basically just a reminder and a very short discussion regarding the new traffic flow down at the youth club. For those that I believe everybody on the Zoom meeting or at the meeting here is aware, but for those at home, the one-way, the traffic has been diverted into a one-way because of the parking that we have down at the youth club. Under license applications, we did have a couple of them. Both of them were approved. Agenda items for next meeting, we did not have any. Our next meeting is going to be held on Monday, January 25th at 4 o'clock at City Hall. Our meeting adjourned at 4:27 p.m.
Are there any questions or comments on Scott's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next report, which will be Public Works. Lee?
Public Works Committee meeting was held Tuesday, December 15th at 8:30 a.m. 2020. Meeting was called to order by Chairman Dashlet at 8:30 in accordance with the open meeting law. All members were present. Also present was Matt Murphy, Public Works Director, Jeff Huffman, Suez, Ryan Trulinski from Robert E. Lee, and Jared Hayne, City Administrator. Approval of our changes to the order of the agenda. The motion was made to accept the agenda, seconded, and motion carried. Approval of the meeting minutes of September 15th, 2020. There was a motion made and seconded. Motion carried. No public comment. No attendance for conferences. Approval of bills. There was a motion made and seconded, and motion carried to approve the bills for the street department, wastewater treatment facility, and leftover from the marina. Sewer credit application. We had 1 sewer credit application that was denied because they didn't meet the specifications of the ordinance for refund credit. Motion was made and seconded to deny it. Motion carried. Wastewater treatment facility report. Jeff Huffman gave his report for November 2020 treatment of the wastewater for the month is getting back to normal. Chemicals are on track. Operations on 11/5/20. Operators noticed a green color, possibly from a porta potty high-strength waste that dumped at the dump station. Wastewater treatment facility treated the system, but was close to going over the ammonia and total phosphorus concentration. Unfortunately, they were unable to locate which hauler did such, but we'll pass it on to them and get it corrected. Completed monthly lift station inspections. Replaced number 2 lift station on Steel Street pump that failed. All is good. They had Faith Technologies come in and do the infrared scan of all the MCC electrical panels and switch gears. It passed inspection. There was no after-hour calls for November. Maintenance cap is on schedule and operators are doing safety training. Public Works Director and Marina Manager. Maintenance is being done on all equipment needed prepping for winter. Working on 6th Street stormwater outfall. Contract is 80% completed. Ryan Trzlinski from Robert E. Lee explained the procedure for getting bids for the lining of the river crossing sewer pipe, Class 1 procedure. Due to the cost being under $25,000, we do not have to go out for formal bidding. We can just contact contractors that are capable of doing this kind of work. Keep you posted. There was discussion on the Crescent Beach stormwater project, some warranty work to be done, and discuss traffic control on the one-way roads. Discussion on the compost pile, about letting anyone take such, and yet at the same time as the city employees are loading the trucks, trailers or such in city's cost. Tabled and discussed at the January meeting along with parking of the boat trailers at the marina. Matt reported that with a month, they should be getting parts for B-Dock, and will use that to fill in at the shop. City employees are doing tree trimming and cutting. Old business, none. New business, we discussed SAS forks. Matt presented the committee with info on the new forks for the payloader. Current ones are much smaller and used for dock change, just for the safety wise, which we approved in it. I think they do have the forks already and such. So, and then the other thing we discussed in new business was the 2021 GMC pickup truck from the street department. Matt also presented the 3 choices for purchasing a new truck. For the Public Works Department, he replaced the Ford extended cab truck. Motion was made and seconded to recommend the Finance Committee to move forward to make the choices for the 3 payments of 3 different options of purchasing the truck, and motion was carried. It was the same thing as the motion was carried and seconded also for the recommended Finance Committee to purchase the SAS forks for the payloader for the 2020 budget. Agenda items for next meeting, it will be on compost pile discussion along with parking boat trailers at Steel Street Marina parking lot. We're going to get into discussion with that and have that ready so that when spring comes, we have a format for such. Next meeting will be Tuesday, January 19th at 8:30 a.m. at City Hall. Motion was made to adjourn, seconded. Meeting adjourned at 9:44 a.m.
Are there any questions or comments of Lee's report? Hearing none, then let's move on to tourism and promotion. Mitch?
Meeting was called to order Monday, December 21st at 1:30. We approved the agenda, the previous minutes. There was no public comment. Under financial statement, the commission has not heard from the city administrator, who's checking on whether the accommodation report in the spreadsheet form can be used by the commission. We used to get a list of who paid what. Now we just get a list of what was paid, right, Jared?
That's my understanding.
Apparently there was some question whether they can hand out individual amounts. We liked it because we could tell, like if there was some bed and breakfast or somebody renting, we could tell and make recommendations for them to check, why they're not paying, but we can't do that anymore now. So that's why we want it. If there's some way to get around it, we would appreciate it anyway. So
Well, I would think that is a good report because I know once in a while you hear about different places that are being run as, rentals by owner and they're
Right.
not paying. This would be a good checks and balances. So if you want to make sure that if we can do that, give them that information,
or even just a list
a list of those
of
that
those,
are.
and
if it's
without the amount for
amounts.
each one, would help.
Yeah, we would have to mask or aggregate the data somehow, because here's my concern. Here's why I first raised the concern about this, is that you're providing.
Hey, Jared, can't hear you, Jared.
Oh, so,
You gotta,
oh, sorry, can you hear me better now?
yes.
Okay, sorry, I had my mask on. So the reason I first expressed concern with this was that you're basically providing data two competing private enterprises, they can see how well each other are doing, and I had some serious concerns about that and the confidentiality. Basically, when you're showing someone how much money they're paying or not paying in accommodations tax, you know how well they're doing in their business. And it's my understanding that one of the members is a business owner or a hotel owner, and so I just wanted to look more into this, because I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely comfortable with providing a name of a business and a dollar amount. It's fine if we aggregate it somehow or somehow mask it, but that's why I'm looking into this, because personally I'm just not comfortable with that for competitive reasons.
So your concern is the income that is generated by each one of the hotels, motels. You're not against the list as long as that information isn't on there? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct, because basically you're tipping the hand
Okay.
between businesses to their competitors.
But you should be able to run a list, and somehow whoever does it in the office should be able to block out the amount of money that they're paying.
Correct.
So that would,
Yeah, that
to
would be
me,
a problem.
that to me would solve your problem.
I think that would be acceptable, but I guess that'll come up next meeting if
Okay.
that's the answer. So,
Okay.
anyway, I'll continue, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Haas presented a financial report, which covered November 1st through December 18th. Motion was made and seconded to approve, and it was approved. Election of officers and appointment of representatives of the Green Bay Visitor Convention Bureau and Harbor Towns was tabled until there's more people there. I just lost my place, I'm sorry. Don't click on something twice when you're not. There we go. On Wisconsin, bills were to present, and they were presented. On Wisconsin Outdoors, the budget workshop for 2021 was reviewed, and some funds previously assigned to the budget items were changed. Added to past approvals were On Wisconsin Outdoors, which is a magazine that we've been advertising in. So that's going to go through, I think. Trade shows, there's nothing budgeted so far for trade shows because so many of them have been canceled. So there's no money there. There's no money budgeted. There is money there if there end up being some. DART will work on stay and play packages for the Our Wisconsin magazines. That's where businesses will maybe give a night in a room, a breakfast, and in lieu of paying for an ad, somehow the magazine gives them out. There's like a contest, and last time it was almost like $250 worth of stuff. So she's gonna go and work on that again. No old or new business. Next meeting is scheduled for January 18th at 1:30 p.m. at City Hall.
Are there any questions or comments on Mitch's report?
I have one comment. If you're looking to develop a report regarding the accommodation tax, could you use the last four digits of the EIN to produce that report? It doesn't give the full EIN and doesn't give the name of the facility, but it would give you a comprehensive report.
One of the reasons, though, John, for us to get the report I don't think we have to have a total after each name. If we could just get the total, but a lot of us, well, a couple of them are motel. One of them is a motel order. One is a rental owner. And we'd like to know. Sometimes people open up businesses that are like VRBOs and stuff who should be paying, and they
Right.
don't. And we want to see that and recommend to City Hall or whoever to go ask them why they're not participating. And without a name, we can't. We don't really care. I mean, I don't think any of us care how much they're paying. We have no way to, I guess a motel order would be able to say, well, gee, that doesn't look like right that they're making more money than that. They should be paying more. I don't know that. I would never look at that, but there is a motel owner that could. So, but I don't think we need to have the individual hotels give their total. We would like to have a total for each. What do they do it every quarter? That it's paid. We would like that, and just the list of names of the businesses that are are giving. So an EIN number for us would mean nothing, and we wouldn't have that check to,
Is this a tax or is this a contributory fee that's an option for these folks?
it's a tax.
It's a room tax.
It's the room tax.
Well, then if they're not paying their taxes.
Right, and we want to, and there are places that got away for years without paying that should have been, until we started getting these names and people would come up and say, why isn't this business, which was, say, a bed and breakfast, why aren't they paying? What's the rule? If you rent out for a month or more, you don't have to pay something to that extent?
Yeah, if you're rented like a permanent rental, then you don't, and I think it's 30 days or 60 days.
But if you're renting for a month or less, you're supposed to be
Right.
paying the accommodations tax. And there were bed and breakfasts that weren't paying and renting out day, week, 2 weeks, whatever, and sometimes the members of this committee discover that, and you go talk to them, well, some of them said they didn't know, who knows, but they started paying then. And that's the reason we would like it. Because sometimes Jared doesn't know everybody that's renting out, but a lot of times the people on this committee do. We know if a new bed and breakfast comes to town, or a new duplex gets put up, or whatever, so.
Any other questions? Thanks, Mitch.
Yep.
Anything else? Let's move on to library. Jake?
Library met on Monday, December 21st at 4 p.m. It was a very brief meeting. 3 members were excused due to the proximity of the Christmas break. And the meeting was called to order at 4 p.m. The approval of the agenda, open meeting notice statements, public input were all held in compliance with the law. Approval of the minutes for the last meetings in November were moved and seconded and approved. Friends of the Library report, there was no Friends of the Library report due to the library chairman, Friends, being absent. But I got from general discussion that they're kind of just steaming along on a weekend, partial Saturdays, but they are still accepting book donations. Best to call ahead. Treasurer's report, we looked at the petty cash and approved payment of the bills. Old business, we reviewed the library plan, and our library, again, is just kind of slowly chugging along. They tried an open library to open the library up, and then rapidly discovered that they had a case of the current malady that's going around, so they had to close it right back down. So they're currently continuing to offer curbside pickup, and will be open via appointment through today. Best to call ahead to see if they're going to try and open up again this week at some point. Kathy could probably provide a little bit more information in that regard, but do call ahead just to make sure that you don't need an appointment for a pickup. The digitation project, holy cow, that's a mouthful. The library is continuing to work with a donor that has offered to digitize our local newspapers through the year 1970. Currently, I think we're digitized into like 1961 or 1962. So this should get us very close to the copyright law cutoff for digitization and open records. There was a new business. Kathy received her yearly evaluation, and she has reported that she will be conducting employee evaluations as feasible again due to our current COVID situation. That may take a bit. There was no closed session. And the agendas for items for the next meeting will be a review of the library plan. The motion was made to adjourn, and the next meeting will be Monday, January 18th at 4 p.m. and available on Zoom. Any questions?
Any questions or comments of Jake's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to medical board. John?
Good evening. The medical board met on December 30th at 4:30. I joined at 4:34. I was 4 minutes late for the meeting. I'll mess up right now. All members were present once I joined. Other members present were Gene Marsh and Carol Nell. There was approval of both the agenda and the meeting minutes for October, that both of those passed. We had financial reports for 2 months, one for October, one for November. On the October, we had total revenues, operating revenues of $279,413, operating expenses of $291,282 for a net loss of $27,859. In November, we had operating revenues of $321,393 with total expenses of $263,685 for a $41,779 profit. We had capital outlays in November of $24,144. Approval of bills for both October and November. They were held as separate motions. Both were passed on a roll call vote of 6 yes, 0 no for both months. Under old business, there was a COVID outbreak in the facility that began on November 11th. It spread to both residents and staff. Only 2 were not affected despite the use of N95 masks being worn by both staff and residents. 2 residents expired from COVID. And some of the folks are still having residual effects. Good news, the beginning of the end. Vaccinations will start tomorrow, January 5th. It will be the Moderna vaccine that's being provided and administered by Walgreens Pharmacy. All residents and half the staff, 30 staff members, will receive the initial vaccination on Tuesday. The remainder of the staff will receive their first dose when the first 30 receive their second dose on February 2nd. Sometime in March, I believe. Under new business, the director of nursing, we're trying to consider a compensation package for the new DON. As you can imagine, the demand for directors of nursing have made the competition rather steep, and the average compensation amount these days is $97,500 per year, according to McKnight's Long-Term Care News, November 2020. So Director Marsh will confer with candidates to determine compensation package possibilities and someone who is willing to negotiate on that. There'll be a special meeting of the board. The COVID hazard pay, there was a motion by Rodrian, second by Pavic, to pay a $5 per hour hazard pay bonus for hours worked between November 13th through December 14th. This is 5,889 hours, or a total amount of $29,445 paid through the COVID Relief Fund. Roll call vote was 6 yes, 0 no, motion carried. One of the renters who currently uses a space for harp lessons is interested in renting an adjoining space. That is being considered. However, there will be a raise in rent given the change in utility costs from $250 to $300 per month, and that will be presented to the person who is interested. There was no meeting for the Friends of the Long-Term Care Unit. Under the administrator's report, they had a census of 24 with a payer mix of 8 private, 3 Medicare, and 13 Medicaid. Revenue, 2 provider relief payments related to COVID were received November 30th for $9,870 and December for $95,766. It was also reported that Lakeland Care has set their reimbursement at $72.85 per day, less than Medicaid. Staffing, Mary Mako has been filling roles of manager, cook, aide in the dietary department. Housekeeping has won out with COVID. The RN, LPN staffing continues to be a challenge for a lot of different reasons, COVID quarantines being among them. Under capital improvements, we had Martin Security has completed most of the fire alarm system upgrades. The damper sensors will be installed soon to complete the project. We've also had the opportunity to purchase air purifiers, bariatric beds, blood pressure monitors, Hoyer scale and lift through some of the funding that's been made available for COVID relief. Masonite will begin moving furnishings and equipment out of the area that they are renting. They says the first week of January that's supposed to happen. The next regular board meeting will be 4:30 Thursday, January 28th via Zoom. We adjourned at 6:08. Are there any questions?
I have one. Is there any more on
Thank you.
John?
John, Mitch has a question.
John?
Oh, sorry, we were muted.
Okay. Mitch has a question.
Is
John.
there any word on what Masonite, are they accepting that we're not gonna give in, or are they fighting it, or what's up with that?
Mitch.
Could you repeat the question a little louder?
Oh, forget it, they're gonna, never mind,
Is there a reason there was no?
never mind.
in the packet?
Yeah, the minutes, we had our meeting last week and, with the holiday and stuff, he couldn't get the minutes. He got them, but the packets were already out.
The meeting was on the 30th. I got them done on the 31st and submitted them, but it would have been towards the end of the workday, if not past the end of the workday at City Hall. So they may have not received them in time.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions of John's report? Okay, then let's go on to utility. Lee?
Utility Commission meeting was Wednesday, December 16, 2020 at 5:30 PM at the Algoma Utilities office. Meeting was called to order at 5:30 in compliance with the open meeting law. Roll call, all members were present. There was a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. Motion carried. There was a motion to adopt the approved minutes and seconded, and motion carried. No public comment. Old business, no planning commission meeting. New business, American Transmission Company, ATC investment request. The utility received notification that it would not be an American Transmission ATC capital investment request for the first quarter of 2021. Motion to approve payments of the bills and payroll. There was a motion to approve such and seconded, and motion carried. There was a motion and seconded to approve the monthly financial reports. Motion carried. Manager's report. Manager's report was reviewed. Hawk explained that the crew has been labeling secondary and primary sets of underground wires. This is a good proactive practice in order restoring power outages in more timely and safe fashion. Office manager's report. Johnson encouraged customers to visit the utility website at www.algomautilities.com and sign up for the new My Account online portal. And motion to go in closed session. And motion was made and seconded. Motion carried. The discussion was at 7 p.m. There was a reopen. Excuse me. At At 7 PM, there was a motion made and second to resume open session provided by State Statute 19.85 sub 2. Roll call was made and motion carried. Motion was made and seconded to approve the 2021 compensation schedule. All employees will receive a 1.6% increase. Roll call, all yeas, no, noes, one no, motion carried. Adjournment, meeting was adjourned at 7:01, and next meeting is January 20th, 2021 at 5:30 PM at Algoma Utilities.
Any questions or comments on the utility report?
Lee, I have a question. What was the general reason for going into closed session?
Compensation.
For compensation.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, Lee. I'll accept a motion then to approve the receipt of the committee reports as presented this evening.
So moved.
Moved by Kevin,
I'll second.
second by John. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's no old business this evening. We're going right into new business. We got approval of the new Class B beer liquor license applications. That's for the Fishtail Ale and also Songbirds Avery LLC. Transfer from Steel Street Hops. What's the Songbirds Avery LLC? Oh, the old Hudson's? Oh, okay, okay. And those went through the committee, and I'll accept the motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Lee,
Second.
second by Scott. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval for new amusement license at Fishtail Ale and Songbirds Avery LLC. Accept the motion for that.
So moved.
Moved by Mitch,
Second.
second by John. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. We're going to go into resolutions. We have resolution number 1055-221. I'll accept the motion, and then I'll have the administrator explain it.
So moved.
Moved by Mitch,
Second.
second by Lee. Jared?
Thank you, Mayor. So as you recall from the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting, this is a proposal we received from our civil engineering firm, Robert E. Lee and Associates, to conduct a wetland delineation study out in our industrial park. It's a step that's needed for any development there to occur. And so as I mentioned at the Finance and Personnel meeting, it's my recommendation that we approve this given the relatively low dollar amount and just make it that much easier for potential development to occur in the industrial park and just do the entire 39.5 acres. They're good for 5 years, and I think it's just, it's a good move to approve this and just help expedite any development that occurs out there.
Are there any questions or comments on the resolution? Any discussion? Hearing none, since we had a motion made and seconded, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution number 1056-2021 is pretty simplified. It's just approving the purchase of a new pickup truck for the Public Works Department. I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Moved by Kevin,
Second.
second by Casey. Any discussion or questions on that resolution?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We're approving the purchase tonight, correct?
Yes,
Is the truck already in use?
yes. The Finance and Personnel Committee approved it at our finance meeting. There was another buyer or another client that was looking at the truck. So we committed after the Finance and Personnel meeting, and this is basically just approving their recommendation, but the truck is in use.
Okay, I was just a little confused that it hadn't gone through the council yet for final approval, and it was already in service.
Yeah, I understand that, Jackie. I did have a discussion the other day with the administrator, our Finance and Personnel Committee is made up of the council. And that being said, those council people approved it under finance, so it's kind of just a rubber stamp when it comes to the council. That's something that I'd like to look at in the future, so that we're basically not, we're just rubber stamping when it's already been approved at the finance level, so.
I would agree with that.
Are there any other questions? We have a motion and second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 1057-2021, and that's awarding the bid for Sewer River Crossing Project. I'll accept the motion.
So move.
Moved by Lee,
Second.
second by Casey. Matt, would you like to say anything on this resolution before I open it up for questions?
Yeah, I guess if anybody has any questions, I'll be willing to field them. But this is to reline a 12-inch sewer, the sanitary line that runs from the sewer plant kind of northwest underneath the boat club, underneath the river, and connects with a manhole just on the north side of the Anape River. So what this would do is to reline that pipe, 12-inch pipe, and give the city approximately about 20-25 years more life out of that pipe.
Matt, you might want to just let everybody know that there was looking at replacing the pipe or putting another pipe in. And because of the absorbent cost, it's my understanding that running a liner inside of the current pipe is going to be a lot more fiscal responsible than trying to put another pipe alongside of it, correct?
That is correct. And to that, prior to me starting here, September of 2018, this was looked at, and there was $150,000 budgeted to reline this pipe after they looked at boring a new line in to replace what is currently there. It was decided and recommended by our engineer at the time was Cedar Corp to reline it, that it would be more financial feasible for the city, and the life that you would get out of it, like I said, about 20 to 25 years by relining it. So we went out with a Class 1 bid. Robert E. Lee posted that back in December, and if everybody can see here, our lowest bid was $24,811 and ranged up to the highest bid. After this was with three bidders, the highest bid was $74,000 from a company out of Minnesota that also bid on the project. So Virtue Sewer, which is a very reputable company out of Pewaukee, they've done a lot of lining. A low bidder, they do have some work in this general area that this would be kind of some fill-in work for them to do. So the only thing that's not on this, there will be some engineering fees for this that will be coming back that we'll have, but I'm guessing the engineering fees are probably going to come right around $2,500 to $3,000 additional to this $24,811.25.
Thank you, Matt. Does anybody on the council have any questions of the resolution?
I have a question. How many times can a line be relined?
One time.
One time only?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question of Matt, and I'm sure you know that at the boat club we are anticipating redoing the shoreline. Should we not even think about it till you're done? Can it be done? You know, what is the best way to go about this? Or couldn't you hear me?
I think, Lee, your question is, can you do any work at the boat club before this project is done?
Right.
My intent is to be substantially complete with this by the first week in March. Your plan at the boat club, I believe, is going to start this spring. My intent is to get this done prior to you guys driving any sheeting. Is a big concern of mine that any sheeting would be driven on that south side of the Anape River in front of the boat club with before this lining is complete. I believe we'll be complete and out of your way. There will be no constructional damage anywhere close to the shoreline. Everything that we'll be doing there will be inside of the pipe under the river. So when we're all said and done, you won't even notice. There's not going to be any grass to be worked up or any blacktop ruined, anything like that.
Okay,
I think one thing to point out that this pipe controls all the waste from the entire north side. If this pipe would ever break, we'd have a real issue up there. We would be basically pumping out the manholes with our truck and transporting it. So this is something that definitely needs to be done. Like Matt said, it's been talked about some time now, even before he came here. And we're looking forward to getting that complete. And I know, Mitch, you guys got a project going on, so
hopefully.
if this is all done in March, April, you should be good to go too, so.
So we can't just pump in the river like Milwaukee did?
No, can't do that, no.
The original pipe was installed in 1932.
1932. Any other questions? Otherwise, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. We'll go on to the administrator's report. Jared?
Thank you, Mayor. So as you all have realized by now, obviously Julie started as our new city clerk. She started with us last Monday. So please join me in welcoming her whenever you get a chance. The employee handbook, I've been attempting to get in communication with some resources there. I was led to believe that they had resources available at low or no cost to member organizations such as the city for things such as employee handbook revision. It's a little unclear if that's necessarily the case. I did get a call back today from another person within the organization, so I'm going to call them back first thing in the morning to see if I can keep using that resource. Otherwise, I'm going to be having to do more in-house before kicking it over to our labor attorneys. The unfortunate part there is, while I know that way it'll for sure be done right, you gotta pay for it when you're having the labor attorneys do it. But nonetheless, I'm going to try and keep our costs as low as possible. The property tax collection. So through Wednesday, when the administrator's report was put together, we had collected just over $2.1 million, which is about 45%. So that's very good so far. And we're continuing to collect property taxes here in City Hall through the month of January. COVID-19, kind of related to that, is while we are still collecting property taxes, City Hall is remaining open. We're making sure to keep people spaced, and you have to wear a mask, and we're sanitizing as frequently as we can. And then with that, I actually got another update today regarding COVID vaccinations. So I reached out to the county because I hadn't heard anything regarding vaccinations. Particularly, I wanted to know about our fire EMS and our police employees, because they're kind of at the front of the line as far as our city employees are concerned. And if you bear with me for a second, I'm going to bring the email up here real quick on my phone. Okay, so rescue is considered, and this is per Cindy Kinnard, the county health official. A rescue is considered Tier 1A, so they would be vaccinated first, and then police and fire are Tier 1B, so they would be vaccinated right after that. The county will be coordinating that, and we're talking about a matter of 1 to 2 weeks when this would be occurring. She's going to be in contact with the rest of us, meaning local government officials, regularly within the week about all this. I guess I just happened to ask ahead of schedule, but I wanted to provide that update as far as that all goes. And then, as we talked about or alluded to earlier in the meeting, regarding the minutes, what we're looking to do is have the staff read the minutes and record them all at one session the week prior to the next council meeting. So the first time we would do this would be the week of January 25th, tentatively looking at Wednesday the 27th. So if you could, as soon as you're able to, get us the minutes following your committee meetings so that we have those as current as we can when we have those meetings. I realize that that might not always be possible just based on how the scheduling works, but we're going to do the best that we can. And then again, this recording would air on our cable programming multiple times prior to the council meeting, which would give members of the public a little bit more time to kind of understand what's going on prior to the council meetings. So with that, I would take any questions.
Mitch?
I'm sure you read the whole new COVID-19 benefit book already, and I assume there's gonna be money available again? Like,
I don't know for certain if there will be.
because I read something where with the first one where, I mean, we're supposed to take delivery of an ambulance in 2022. And I read where there was a service or a municipality that got money that basically paid for a good majority of their ambulance. I'm not saying we need to do that, but if we could, if we want to put some special things in, like the misters and maybe some UV lights that are installed, but just things that could go in there where there's opportunity for money that we could put it in where we might not be able to otherwise. And when you do hear, if there's something that needs to be applied for, I would encourage us to do that. And like I say, this other municipality basically got their rig paid for. I don't know that we could go that far. But if we could get some equipment that could be useful, I think it would be I don't see there's a better way to use that money, that it should be declined. And I would encourage us to do it.
Okay.
Any other questions of the administrator's report? Casey, did you have a question?
Yeah, just a question about the reading of the committee minutes. That's going to be on the cable system and also YouTube on our channel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I see the head going in there, yes.
Yep.
I'll take it as a yes, right, Amber?
Our puppets are shaking their head.
Okay, any other questions? Anybody? Hearing none? Thank you, Jared. Under Mayor's report, I've just got I guess I got a little thank you that I want to get out tonight. As everybody knows, we are now in 2021. 2020 has not been an exceptionally good year for the city of Algoma. And I just want to take my hat off, and first of all, I would just like to thank Chief Remaker and his group of police officers for all their hard work and dedication during this COVID times and things that have been going on in our community. Also, Chief Ackerman, who represents the fire and rescue, and I want to personally thank him and his staff. I want to thank Matt and the public works staff. Everybody's been working through some crazy times with this COVID, and I do appreciate everything that's being done. Sarah, Parks and Recs have been really tough on her. We can't have the rec department open, but yet her and her staff are keeping themselves busy by doing a lot of other things. Special thank you to Jean and all the staff at the ALTCU. I mean, this has been trying for these employees up there. They've been trying to keep all the residents as safe as they can. They've done an excellent job. We've had very few cases of COVID up there. The problem we're having is staffing, because if somebody is exposed to somebody else, they have to be quarantined. So Jean has done an excellent job in keeping the place running. Pete Hawk and the utility crew has been faced with some trying times also, and I want to thank them. Also want to thank Kathy in the library. I know it hasn't been easy for her, but she's done an excellent job with the curbside pickup, keeping people informed of what's going on, making the books available as much as she can. Al and the cable group doing an excellent job, of course, trying to get the word out. And Jared and his staff here at City Hall. If it's not on cable, they're trying to put it out on their website. And then last but not least, I want to thank the council. I want to thank the 8 people that have worked with me the last year. I appreciate everything you people do. It's not been easy. I know it's not easy running meetings through Zoom, but we've done the best we can. And I just want to thank everybody and wish everybody a healthy and prosperous 2021, and hopefully a couple months from now, we'll be putting this behind us and we'll say, boy, am I glad 20 is gone. So again, thank you to everybody. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. But again, thanks for everything that everybody has done. I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Moved by Lee,
Second.
second by Mitch. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting's adjourned.
No.